I'm calling the Riverside Township Board of Trustees meeting to order. Please rise. And Trustee Carroll, would you lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Clerk Dropko, would you please call the roll?
Trustee Blau.
Present.
Trustee Carroll.
Present.
Trustee Clark.
Present.
Trustee Hollenbach.
Present.
Supervisor Wilt.
Present.
Let the record show that Clerk Drop is in attendance and we have a quorum.
Thank you. Before we go into the agenda, I would just ask this board's approval to move things around a little tonight. We have some guest speakers who have another commitment later, and so if you wouldn't mind us moving new business E up toward the beginning of the agenda, I would appreciate that. Is that all right with everyone?
Yes.
That's fine.
Okay. Thank you very much. Let's go to the approval of minutes before we move on.
I make a motion to approve the minutes of the February 9th, 2022 board meeting.
I have a motion by Trustee Clark to approve the minutes of the February 9th meeting. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. I have a motion by Trustee Clark, second by Trustee Carroll, to approve the minutes of the February 9th Board of Trustees meeting. Are there any additions, corrections, or discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion is carried. Next up are the minutes of the March 1st Committee of the Whole.
I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes of the March 1st Committee of the Whole.
I have a motion.
Second.
I have a motion by Trustee Heilenbach, seconded by Trustee Blau, to approve the minutes of the Committee of the Whole meeting of March 1st. Are there any additions, corrections, or discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Abstain.
Thank you. We have one abstention from someone who was not present. All opposed? Motion is carried. Thank you very much, Trustee Clark, too. Okay, let's go right to the new business before we get into communications and all. So the matter that we are moving up here is the matter of security cameras. And so anyone who's going to speak to this, if you would, we have some people present to answer questions. So if we have some questions, I would ask that you come up, introduce yourself for the recording and for the minutes, and then we'll go forward.
Good evening, all.
Good evening.
You know who I am, Andrew Luther. I just want to give you a quick history. The current security system is probably 16 to 20 years old. I started here in 2006, and it was installed before I even started here. And that was originally 4 cameras. We added 5 more cameras of the same style, the same functionality, in 2012, and that was 10 years ago. Currently, one of those cameras has not been operational for a few years now. They're so old, they don't have high definition, they can't see at night. If it's dark, there's no light, they can't record or see anything. So I would say due to the poor quality and the age and how limited they are in their use, and the fact that we've had an increased number of special events here, like weddings, birthday parties, and the alcohol usage, not to mention also increased number of incidents since the pandemic, in this building, that would warrant maybe a possible better security system. That's why I'm kind of advocating that we upgrade this. I think close to 20 plus years is long enough. So currently we have 9 total cameras, and I'm saying we should increase at least to 11 to cover some of the current blind spots in the current areas that we do have covered. If you do want, there's also an additional, I think, quote in there for if you want to add an additional camera to each of the meeting rooms, to be an additional 5 cameras for a total of 16. If you have any questions or if you want more specifics about the cameras themselves, with the system themselves, you can ask either Dan or Brad here.
Okay.
What's the license? Does that mean if, when the license expires, the cameras are dead, or?
Well, it's what's called a cloud license. My name is Dan Graham, by the way.
If you would speak, come through. Thank you.
My name is Dan Graham. I'm with Versatile Computer Services. And we've got over 30 years' experience in the IT field. But what the license is for the cloud, because everything is going to be in the cloud when it comes to your cameras. So after the 3-year, 5-year, whichever you choose, then it's time to renew the license, because that's how all the communication is done. So you won't have like a tape here, so if something happens, you won't have to put it on a thumb drive and try and get it over to the police station. You can send them you can just send them a link, and they can view the footage that you want them to view.
So for us also, that will be in the cloud? I mean, if we want to review it, we do it right on the
can review
computer
it
rather than?
On the spot. On the
Okay.
spot.
I mentioned that's similar to how we have the Wi-Fi set, which is a 3-year cloud license.
Right, right. So that's renewed, that'll have to be renewed again. And that's the direction that everything is going. And it's good because what it does is it gives you that redundancy, actually, having it in the cloud. And let's just say, for instance, you lost power. Well, let's just say, for instance, you lost internet. The cameras are still recording as long as you got power. So,
Do we have emergency power? Am I right, Supervisor Will?
We do not.
That's
The
something
village has backup generators, but we do not.
we should consider that. Okay. My question is to this board, is that we are protecting this whole building. I'm wondering if maybe we should approach the village of Riverside to see if they'd like to be partners with us on a.
Share in some of that?
In some kind.
So we have 3 different documents with numbers here. So the one is for labor, and then the 16,225 would be for the basic setup that we're talking about, correct? So these would be,
yeah, they're separate. I don't have one.
so we're looking at like 30 plus. Then if we went into the meeting rooms, that's the third one, the 7,000, correct?
Now, which one are you referring to?
So I have something here that, that,
Estimate 105?
Yeah. Estimate
no,
zero.
I'm looking at, yeah,
1005.
so there's one that's, that is 1005, one that is 1007, which is in addition to the 1005, and then there's one that's 8192029,
Right.
which is for labor.
So what I did, the way we broke this out was we'd have one fisheye camera, which sees in 360 degrees, which would go in the hallway here. Then we have the CD42, so we're looking at 10 of those. And then we would have 11 licenses, and that's 3-year licenses.
Okay,
So, and then when you look at 106, that's the same thing, but that's a 5-year
with a 5-year license, okay.
And the other one, these are the extra cameras.
For inside meeting rooms, right?
Yeah, right. And so there's one with a 3-year, and then there's one with a 5-year.
Okay,
So to give you some options on, how long you wanted to go with that.
okay. But then I'm looking, there's one that, Andrew, you've marked as labor. That is That is in addition to
Yes,
these others? Okay.
yes.
Just wanted to make sure that
That's for doing the wiring.
we're
and-
doing apples to apples, right?
Right, and so one of the things that, we had to look at, and Andrew made sure that we were aware that, we have to maintain the
Integrity.
aesthetics, and, and so there's certain things that we have to do just to make sure that we keep Riverside Township looking like Riverside Township. Because very historic looking, I mean, and just
Right.
the whole feel of it.
Okay.
I have another question. Do we have any cameras on the outside of the building? Like in the back, on the side?
Well, we got the stairways covered, but nothing outside.
I don't know how that would fall with preservation if you attach something outside the building.
I got you.
Or landscape, or the landmark.
Do you think it's I mean, would it be wise to put something on the outside, in the back and in the front?
I mean, the parking lot is already covered, the village has their own camera on top of their part of the building that covers the parking lot. The police station has a few cameras on their end too. I mean, so I think the only thing we do outside would be just right outside the front entrance.
So if we were going to do the whole thing, that would be with the labor and everything, that's over $36,700.
Yes.
That's a huge expense, but something that is needed,
Right.
in my opinion. Especially, we've had some people coming in here, and I would like to get a better, clearer picture. Sometimes.
I know this is your first exposure to the whole thing, so,
I'll be honest, I say we bite the bullet and let's do it. At least we know that this building will be secure. The rooms will be secure. We've had damage in the past, we're renting this building out. If we have damage and everybody says, not me,
yeah,
we can go back to the camera and say, guess what, it is you.
yeah.
And then I think, being an old loss prevention guy, I think cameras are great. They're very helpful. So, I mean, we have the money to do this. Am I right, Supervisor Wilt?
Well, we can find it, yes. We have it in various improvements,
Okay.
in various areas.
Well, I personally think, the only thing the thing that I don't know is this, do we do a 3-year license or a 5-year license?
I would say 3.
Well, the Wi-Fi we did at 3, we just, we're in the process of renewing that right now.
Right.
You're, in the Wi-Fi you did
The
at 3?
Wi-Fi, I mean, they installed the Wi-Fi.
Oh, they did okay.
3 years ago.
My reasoning for doing 3 years is that technology could change a lot,
Huh? That's a good
in the
point.
next 3 years. And also, we still have the bridge to worry about. So, that's why I was thinking that maybe we should do this for 3 years.
Again, we're securing this whole building, and I'm going to say it again. I think maybe we should contact the officials from the Village of Riverside,
And
if
see,
they're willing to contribute on this, especially since we're upgrading the system for the whole building.
So do you want to go ahead and approve this, or do you want to talk to the village and approve this at the next meeting?
I say, you know what, Supervisor will help me here. What do I want to do?
I mean, we can follow up and ask that they contribute to it and still go forward. I'm still going back to the 3 versus 5 year, and I mean, it's a small increase, really.
Well, I do agree with Trustee Clark that the
Yeah.
technology does change quite a bit. I mean, if we're going to re-up, we're going to re-up in 3 years, am I correct?
That's correct.
You'll be back here talking to us again.
Right, so you'll either be re-upping in 3 years, or you'll be re-upping in 5.
I agree with trustee Clark. The technology changes so quickly on this stuff. You know, we may.
Is
have
this
to-
something that the technology would change on in terms of that, the licensing?
It's not, as far as the licenses, there might be an increase down the road. There's no guarantees on that, but, I mean, once you're locked in, you're locked in, but
But we're also looking at some cost for those, for the cameras,
that's correct.
because basically, is this a lease on them, or,
No, well,
so
the cameras are yours.
is that,
It's the license gives you access to the cameras.
okay,
Yeah,
So if the license expires, the cameras go dark,
yes.
completely non-functional, they're not, no onboard?
Well,
Like no onboard recording or anything like that, they're completely dead if the license is expired?
if the license expired, yes, yes,
That's-
And they could,
that's-
Well, that's the same for the Wi-Fi, too.
yeah,
could they be reactivated if,
sure.
Well,
but
but
only by
send us-
your company?
Right.
Correct?
Pardon me?
Only by your particular
Well,
company?
Verkada is the manufacturer of the cameras themselves. So that's who covers that. We'll be your intermediary with them. It's just like, you know, you go to a car dealer to buy a Chevy, it's a Chevy, but the car dealer is where you bought it from. And so what we would do is we would be that intermediary for you, just as if it was anything else, so.
So the wiring would stay,
Yep,
the cameras would stay. The only thing that would happen after the licensing, if we choose not to do it, would be that you would turn it off. But we could go to another service if we
yep.
so choose to, because we own the cameras and the wiring and everything else.
So I guess that was my point, is that we're not completely locked out of a $30,000 camera purchase.
Right.
If
If you decide to.
if
not do
camera
it.
storage wars happen or something.
Yeah.
There's like price
hope not.
wars or something.
Yeah,
My other question would be that, what happens if your company decides to move on or switch business gears? Do
you're
we
still
have a-
good. You're still good. I mean, it's like I was saying, if you bought a car from, you remember Long Chevrolet?
Sure,
I mean, you can still get your Chevrolet serviced, right?
okay.
So, yeah.
And is there any maintenance agreement with these?
They're covered throughout your,
So that if we make this purchase, then maintenance is included?
as far as replacements or things like that. So let's just say, for instance, one of the cameras died. That would be covered.
What if somebody takes a tennis racket to one of them?
Well, I think that's your insurance. Probably have to cover that. So,
And does your company provide testimony for the police department too, if we need video for trial? You know,
Well-
God forbid something happens where charges are filed, somebody's gonna need to testify to your system,
The validity of the camera system?
you know,
well,
that,
that would be Verkada, and, you know, we would work with them. We are, Verkada is one of our camera providers. So,
so what company is responsible for storing the actual video?
that's the actual camera itself, which is the Verkada camera. That's the manufacturer of the camera.
Because somebody would need to come in to testify in court that the system was working properly, especially if it was after hours.
So you get 24/7 support along with your cameras.
And a live body if we needed one, if the
Well, if I
police
need to go to,
department-
if I need to go to court, I'm happy to do that. But like I said, that would be the responsibility of Verkada. And I can get you more information like that if you need it. As a matter of fact, I was going to bring my Verkada rep on with me, but with the way we're set up here, I'm not sure you'd be able to hear him and all that. But I can certainly do that if you like. I mean, if it's,
I think it's important that we have that nailed down in case something terrible does happen.
Okay.
Video that we're paying to install is actually usable in court?
Well, you're gonna know because, like I said, anytime you want to see what's going on with a camera, what you see when you log into the portal to look at it, that's what's going to be recorded. And let's just say, for instance, the police said, or there was an incident happen and you picked out what it was. So what you would do is you would send a link to the police, and then they could view it, and you could store it. You could do whatever you needed to do for court purposes.
No, I get that, but I need, not to get too far in the weeds, but we would need somebody from the company, as Tim had said, to come in and say that what is, it's a legal foundation.
Okay.
I'd need a live body to come in and say, yeah, these cameras recorded exactly. It's not been edited. It's not been altered. What you see is what you
So you're
get.
looking for someone to authenticate and to
Correct.
make sure that it's not been,
Correct.
yeah.
Can I step in?
Please.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Brad Carr with Wireline. I'm the cabling contractor for putting it all together. So to speak in generalities, when the video is recording for a legal matter, the video is always watermarked, and that's what the term they use in the legal proceedings is the footage watermarked. If it's watermarked, it means that it has not been tampered with. So it should not require a live body to be present in a court case for that.
You're dealing with with the legal
I just
people.
want to make sure that we have the ability, a contact.
So that, yeah,
The
and that
least-
would fall to Verkada as to be able to provide that. I don't know if they would do that or,
Okay.
where they are, because I'm honestly not sure where corporate, is for them either, so.
But I can certainly get you an answer for that.
Yeah, that would be great. Thank you.
Well, then we should pass this then, for table it for right now.
Okay,
And then
defer it
this way
till
you
next
can-
month.
You can do some inquiries too.
Are there any other questions that should be researched before we do that? All your other questions have been answered so far?
Yeah.
Okay,
Need
then,
a motion to table this?
I wouldn't use the term table. I would defer it to next month, because table, when you lay something on the table, it may never come back off. Am I saying?
That you have to vote to then take it off the table, right? There is another step to it, so you're correct.
So do we want a motion to defer this to our April meeting?
You can continue it to the next meeting. Sure.
Yeah.
That's-
continue it to the, continue
And then you
this
can-
discussion to the next
You
meeting.
can get us that information?
I'll get that to you.
Okay.
And then if you guys want to see my mask face again, I'm happy.
Not a problem. And thank you for coming out.
Okay. So do I have a motion to,
I'll make a motion to continue the
This matter.
discussion on security cameras for the building until next month's meeting.
I'll second.
so I have a motion by trustee Clark, seconded by trustee Carroll, to now continue the discussion of security cameras for our April meeting. Any discussion to that motion? Not all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion is carried. Thank you, gentlemen. That would be the regular meeting, not the annual meeting, yes.
Thanks, guys, for coming in.
Thank you for
Thank you
coming.
very much.
Andrew, thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
You look much different in the evening.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, back to our regularly scheduled agenda, communications.
I have nothing.
All right. Public comments, we don't have any public. So supervisor's comment, supervisor's report. So we were closed for 2 holidays since our last meeting, but we've also been busy. On February 18th, trustee Heilenbach and I met with Safety Chief Buckley and several first responders to discuss the Township and Mental Health Board programs that could be of help, especially when they encounter mental health and senior issues. It was a productive meeting, with several officers learning of available resources that they were completely unaware of. Hauser Junior High has kicked off another food drive, and just before the kickoff, they brought in canned goods twice, 2 days in a row. And at first, I was invited to their March 1st kickoff, but then they let me know that there were no outside speakers this year. But I was asked instead to send them a video to be shared with the students later in the week about how their drive impacts the community. Since many of the students do get to see our crowded little pantry regularly when they drop off food, I made the video with the backdrop of the prepackaged bags in the CRC room where recipients pick up the bags. In preparing the remarks, I did a little research and found that in the past year, we've served 83 families at least one time with the food pantry. I'm preparing the application for an Invest in Cook grant for the work on the swinging bridge. The application has been entered, has to be entered in one session, and the county notified us that previously entered applications needed to be re-entered because they had some glitches in their system. So I was glad that I'm a little slow on that intake, but I am working on preparing the online application because I've tried starting it a couple of times and then I get an interruption and then we're gone. So I will probably stay after hours one day just to get it in because it's due next week. And then, let's see, I've also been in touch with Representative Zalewski's office regarding finding some additional grants for both the bridge and the bridges and the buildings projects, and I'm working with one of his staff members to find some funding for our big projects. Also regarding the bridge, the lead-based paint test came back confirming there is lead-based paint in at least the oldest parts of the bridge, including both the north and south I-beams and the south anchor and the cable attached to that anchor. The parts that were replaced in 2002 all appear to be lead-free. The information from that report will be made available to anybody who bids or continues to work on the project. Andrew and I have also been in touch with the Riverside Library, which is working on a blood drive to be held here in the town hall, tentatively in June. The crisis intervention training that was held here last week for area first responders all seems to have gone well. I think everybody was well satisfied, and they were very grateful for the location provided. We have had some more requests for building use, both for standard and non-standard use, so it seems like activities are coming back. However, we just learned today that one of those, for example, the Lions Club, who had tentatively booked the auditorium for a spring chicken dinner, they had thought that they were going to do a sit-down. They've decided, as of last night, that they're going to make it a Plan B drive-up event using the Presbyterian Church. It's more a matter of the volunteers needed to do it than anything. Okay, after the meeting agenda had been posted, I received 2 inquiries on items that we have supported in the past and that are within our budget and actually within my spending limit, but I want to make you aware of them. One is the Aging Care Connections Aging Well Month that's in the month of May. Aging Care Connections Advancement Department has had apparently a lot of staff turnover recently, so the request that we normally would have gotten in January was forgotten. And so it never got out to us, and now they're up on deadline. So we traditionally receive this as a grant request along with their annual request in February. This is the sponsorship that we have done at the advocate level, which is $1,500 and includes a half-page ad in their Aging Well Month guide. And copy for that is due this coming Monday. So it's not on the agenda, but $1,500 is within my spending limit. So I plan to, go for forgiveness rather than approval here. So I do want to get involved with that. They do a lot of good senior programming that we share with our seniors. Since so many senior programs have been impacted in the last 2 years, we still have money in this budget, and I would hate to not support this annual month of events. I plan to approve this, and then the expenditure would be on the warrants next month for approval, just to let you know. The other post-agenda request is much smaller. It's for the North Riverside Players Spring Musical production of Sweeney Todd. Full-page ad there would be only $100, well within my limits, but I want to bring this up to you to let you know that I want to promote some of our services to the larger audience that they draw. So if there's anything you think that should be highlighted in there, please do let me know. Their play isn't until May, otherwise I would promote the shred event, but we still have plenty of programs that people are not as aware of as they should be. The CRC and the General Assistance Office, that's me, have been cooperating on a number of clients with cross referrals. I assisted one of the emergency assistance clients in applying for additional funds from one of our local charitable groups, and there was a grant available for this client's type of need, so we're hoping that award will be made. And I also referred this person to the CRC for some other services, and the CRC has helped one of our GA clients by connecting to another local nonprofit for some help that I couldn't provide, so we've been really working hand in hand, so I'm really pleased with how that partnership is developing. If you have any questions, I'd be glad to answer them, but that's the extent of my report.
Thank you for all your hard work.
Yeah. Supervisor, Wilt, are they doing that luncheon, the senior aging well,
That doesn't seem to be, that, you know, they usually have the kickoff the first
Thursday of
Thursday of May. That does, hold on, let me just double check, because that usually included tickets to that. So, let's see, that advocate level, it's a mention in the Aging Well Month press release, half-page ad in the Aging Well Month guide, recognition on social media, 30-second video featured on social media twice, logo and website link on AWM promotional materials, the QR code in their guide, logo on the tote bag, plus 2 inserts that we get to put into the tote bag that they give out, but it doesn't talk about an event. So I don't think that they are having that luncheon. Yeah, here it is. The ACC has decided to cancel the kickoff event and focus on the presentations throughout the month of May. Sorry, no luncheon, folks. Yeah, the month-long celebration begins on May 2nd, and because of COVID still occurring in the state, and because of the vulnerability of their population that they serve. So that's what I plan to do. Any other questions or comments? Thank you. Then trustees' reports. Trustee Clark.
The senior class exercise class is still going well. We had 190 in February. On March 24th, I'll be traveling to Bloomington for a trustees training, and then a director's meeting afterwards. And as I said, April 6th is lobby day, and then on April 7th, we have a director's meeting.
Thank you for representing us well with the township officials of Illinois. Trustee Carroll.
I have no report, Madam Supervisor.
Thank you. And Trustee Blau?
No report, thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Heilenbach?
Hi, hello, good evening, everybody. As Supervisor Wilt mentioned, we had 17 first responders for CIT training. It did go very, very well. A lot of the officers were very impressed by the training. We plan to continue that on at least once a year to do it, and until all our officers are trained. It's very important. The CRC and I are working on a mental health fair, which will have all our agencies involved sometime in the later part of May. It's just getting off the ground now. I think it'd be a good idea to showcase what the CRC can do, and our agencies that we support, and have the residents come into the village, into the township hall to see how things work with the CRC. We have with the meeting that we had with Director Buckley, there is a senior officer that's going to handle any senior cases. His name is, I think it's Dan Morello,
Morello, I believe.
Dan Morello. He's going to be working with us. We've also told him that, that Trustee Clark is our senior liaison, and I'm sure as things go on, I will keep you updated on it going forward. We had our budget meeting last night. I think we finally come to a consensus, and we'll be presenting that at our meeting on Wednesday, this next Wednesday, a week from today. And don't pay any attention to that. That concludes my report.
Thank you very much. Any questions? Nope. Okay, then on to unfinished business. We did meet about the township budget. I discovered afterwards that I had not, actually I had intended to, but I did not put in the money for these cameras, so that I will have some adjustments going forward.
Okay.
What we should do is set a date for our hearing that it could be somewhere in between the annual meeting and our regular meeting, or we can defer it all the way till May. We have until the end of June to actually approve the budget. So I would almost recommend we do go to May, because, April, we're still getting our bearings on the end of the fiscal year and figuring out what all came in. Money has been coming in for tax money, and right now we have reached, as of today, we've reached what we had budgeted as income on the general funds, and we're over by about $5,000 on general assistance funds of what we had budgeted for and expected from the levy. So, we're still going to be getting some more in, and I'd like to have all those numbers before I really set this budget a sail. So if you don't mind setting the budget hearing for before the May meeting, and that I believe is May 11th, and then we could go from there. We can have the hearing before the meeting, and then during the meeting, we're allowed to approve it.
So we'll have the hearing before the May meeting.
Correct. We would schedule it for, say, 15 minutes before, so that if anybody has any questions or comments, we have the time to do that.
That works for me.
That's fine with me.
Okay? Very good. If anybody else has come up with something else, like I said, I didn't have all these numbers yet for the cameras when we talked budget before, so I will be, looking to stick that into the right place in here, and I will, using that, I can also approach the village to see if there's any likelihood that they might want to join in for those cameras. They've recently upgraded a great deal within their offices. They've put in some very secure glass, let's just say, in their lobby area, and even this approach from this room. So that, so they are very security conscious as well, so. Swinging bridge repairs, as I reported, we did get the information. I forwarded it to the architects, but I haven't heard back from them yet to see, and of course, we don't have all the funds we would need if we actually went with this lone bidder that we currently have numbers from. But having that, maybe if we know that the lead-based paint is somewhat isolated, we might be able to get a better bid somewhere as well. Companies are starting to operate again, so maybe there's others.
Are we going to start the bidding process?
I don't want to start the bidding again, but right now, we only have the one bid that the architect feels is complete enough. So I need to see if they can sharpen their pencil any
To whittle it down a little bit.
Or, there was another company, as I reported, that had wanted to bid on it, and just couldn't get the subcontractors on board to get all the different parts.
Right.
You waived competitive bidding last year after 2 rounds or 2
Right.
attempts.
Right.
At public bidding, and based on those circumstances and the getting late in the season, you had waived the bidding requirement.
Right, and that would still hold, I
I
presume.
think it still holds,
Yeah.
whether it's worth taking that vote again, you can consider that, but I think it still applies.
Okay.
Okay.
Circumstances haven't really changed.
No, no,
And you made 2 attempts. so.
right, right. Okay, so that's all, that's under that unfinished business for now. We do have a special request under new business, special event request for a 50th anniversary. You have it in your packet. And I thought somebody was going to be here to speak to it tonight, but I don't see anyone. So, all of the information is here. The request is for Friday, March 18th. It would be a wedding anniversary party, and basically for their large family and friends, and would be utilization of the auditorium and the kitchen. They don't expect it to go terribly late at night. And you have all the information there. They are aware that of all the requirements. There's no admission. They will be serving alcohol. They're aware of having to provide the insurance, and so what is your pleasure on that request?
I'll make a move that we grant the room request for March 18th for Peter Mandel, as long as he gets the insurance.
Okay. I have a motion by trustee Clark. Do I hear a second?
I'll second it.
I have a second by trustee Heilenbach. Motion and second to approve the request for the March 18th Friday evening party running from 5 to 9 for roughly 50 to 60 people. And so long as they provide the necessary insurance. And are there any questions? No discussion? Then let's take a roll call on this.
Trustee Blau.
Yes.
Trustee Carroll.
Yes.
Trustee Clark.
Yes.
Trustee Heilenbach.
Yes.
Supervisor Wilt.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you. The annual town meeting, you have we had no special requests. March 1st is the last day to request items to be put on the agenda, so it's basically our standard agenda for the annual meeting. So this board needs to approve that agenda so that it can be posted according to the legal requirements. What is your pleasure?
Motion.
I have a motion to approve the
Annual town meeting
Agenda.
agenda on
Okay.
April 12th, 2022.
Thank you. Do I hear a second?
You do. I will be happy to second that.
Okay.
lovely motion.
I have a motion by trustee Blau, seconded by trustee Carroll, to approve the annual town meeting agenda for April 12th, 2022. That meeting does start at 6:01 PM. By law, can't start any earlier, and that is the time that we have scheduled it for. If there's no further discussion, nothing else you want put on this agenda, then all in favor of approving this agenda as presented, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion is carried. Then, just a question on that. Typically, we have served some light refreshments that evening. There's no longer the requirements of proving vaccination and so forth, so if this board wishes, we can arrange for some refreshments that evening.
How much do we usually spend on that when we've done it? I mean, it's a couple $100.
Max, yeah, it's usually less than that.
Yeah, I think that's nice. I make a motion that we approve refreshments and food for the annual town meeting with a $200 budget plus or minus 10%.
Thank you. I have a motion by trustee Heilenbach. Do I hear a second?
A second.
A motion by trustee Heilenbach, seconded by trustee Carroll, to arrange for food and beverages for the annual town meeting, not to exceed $200 plus or minus 10%. Any discussion? Not. This is an expenditure, even if it's a small one. So, Clerk Drapka, would you please call the roll?
Trustee Blau.
Yes.
Trustee Carroll.
Yes.
Trustee Clark.
Yes.
Trustee Hollenbach.
Yes.
Supervisor Wilt.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you. And then you have in your packet, it's the same as last year. The price is the same as last year for Selden Fox's engagement for the annual town audit. What is your pleasure?
I make a motion to accept the audit engagement letter from Selden Fox dated February 27th, 2022.
Thank you. Do I hear a second?
Second. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
I have a motion by trustee Blau, seconded by trustee Clark,
Am I comfortable?
to approve the engagement letter from Selden Fox for our annual audit. As you will note, the signature says the foregoing is approved by the Board of Trustees, and this would authorize them to proceed with the services as described at an amount of, I know it's here,
I didn't see it.
yeah, it's in there. I know that it's it's the same as last year.
8,950.
Correct, yes. On page 6, their professional fees for this service will be $8,950. So this is an expenditure being authorized, so once again, will the clerk please call the roll?
Trustee Blau.
Yes.
Trustee Carroll.
Yes.
Trustee Clark.
Yes.
Trustee Hollenbach. Supervisor Wilt.
Yes.
Motion carried.
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
Oh, dear.
Get my name, which is like one of the easiest.
Sometimes you just look at somebody and don't remember. Okay. Then we've gotten our first invitation to a 4th of July parade, and that's from North Riverside. And I'm guessing that you probably will want to participate. What is your pleasure?
Do we just make a motion that we're going to participate?
Sure.
Okay, make a motion that we participate in the North Riverside 4th of July parade.
Okay. If you want, we haven't gotten the invitations yet, but I suppose we could make it a group that we would participate in all of them, but I can certainly let them know. Is there any objection to our participating in that? No? Then I have a motion. Do I hear a second to participate in the North Riverside?
I'll second.
Any discussion?
Are we going to have giveaways? Do we want beads or do we want fans or?
Well, North Riverside doesn't mind candy, but the others don't allow it. So we could do, that's up to you. You have a little time to
We've
think
got
about
time to
it.
decide that.
Yes, so think about what you'd like to see us hand out this year.
What's the most popular? The beads, right?
These are most
People do enjoy them. People do enjoy them. So we could go with
So
that.
maybe we could look and see what the costs are.
Sure.
Still have some.
We'll investigate. All right.
Just throw chocolate at me,
All in favor of in the motion to participate in the North Riverside 4th of July parade?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion is carried. And we've already dealt with the item E. So we are, before we get into the actual financials, I just want to point out that you'll see on this month's, or rather the end of February's that we've overspent in some line items and still have plenty in others. So next month, I will be proposing some budgetary transfers to straighten that all out. But with holiday on Monday and when we received this, I didn't have those numbers
Right.
to put it on the agenda. So I will entertain a motion for the warrants.
Trustee Heilenbach moves that the board authorize and ratify payment of the bills identified on the general warrant for March 2022 in the amount of $15,417.33 as presented to this board this 9th day of March 2022.
Thank you. I have a motion. Do I hear a second?
Second.
I have a motion by trustee Heilenbach, seconded by trustee Blau, to approve the general warrants for March of 2022 in the amount of $15,417.33. That's $15,417.33. Are there any questions? Any discussion? Hearing none? Would you call the roll?
Trustee Blau.
Yes.
Trustee Carroll.
Yes.
Trustee Clark.
Yes.
Trustee Hollenbach.
Yes.
Supervisor Wilt.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you. Okay, the rest of the warrants?
Motion by trustee Heilenbach that the board ratify and authorize payment of the amounts indicated on the following warrants. The utility warrant for March of 2022 in the amount of $870.74. The payroll warrant for March of 2022 in the amount of $18,974.99. The health warrant for March of 2022 in the amounts of $2,265.37. Grants for March of 2022 in the amount of $18,500. Petty cash for March of 2022 in the amount of $188.15. General assistant warrant for March of 2022 for the amount of $6,025. Township radio players warrant for March of 2022 in the amount of $200. Food pantry warrant for 2022 in the amount of $322.24. All of the above is presented to this board this 9th day of March 2022.
I have a motion by trustee Heilenbach. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
I would just like to give one explanation because there's an item you may not have seen before, and that is on the general assistance warrant, there is an item for general operating expenses from April 1st of last year through March 31st of this year. The statute allows for sharing of expenses, of general expenses, things like utilities, office equipment, office supplies, staffing, and so forth. And so the general assistance is paying to the general funds its share, basically, of the office expenses. So that's what that 4,000 is for. So, are there any questions, any discussion of these items? Then I have a motion by trustee Heilenbach, seconded by trustee Blau, I believe?
No, Carol.
Carol, by trustee Carroll, sorry, for the following warrants. Utility warrant in the amount of $870.74. Payroll warrant in the amount of $18,974.99. Health warrant in the amount of $2,265.37. Grants warrant in the amount of $18,500. Petty cash in the amount of $188.15. General assistance warrant in the amount of $6,025. Township radio players in the amount of $200, and the food pantry warrant in the amount of $322.24. Would you please call the roll?
Trustee Blau.
Yes.
Trustee Carroll.
Yes.
Trustee Clark.
Yes.
Trustee Hollenbach.
Yes.
Supervisor Wilt.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you very much. And that brings us to adjournment. Do I have a motion?
Motion to adjourn.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
I I have a motion by trustee Clark, seconded by trustee Blau, to adjourn this March meeting of the Board of Trustees of Riverside Township. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion is carried. Thank you.